Hello from the Canon Academy Homeschool. This is a weekly summary that I'm going to start trying to do at the end of each week to tell about the Canon Academy Homeschool happenings of the week. This is for May 30th, 2022 through June 3rd, 2022. Now, Monday was Memorial Day, so I did not have any kids. Everybody was off work, so they kept their kids at home. For those of you who don't know, I homeschool my youngest two grandchildren and my oldest great-grandchild right now. We are doing something called reading miles, where for every minute they read, they earn 5 reading miles. And we are traveling the United States. We did the Oregon Trail and ended it a few months ago. Since then we've come down through California, through Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. We just finished going through Louisiana and Mississippi, and we are now in Alabama. So let me get on with this. For the week, my youngest grandchild is 4.5 years old, and he earned 220 reading miles this week. Now, to do that, he read one story from a reader and 4 other books. His sister, who is 6.5, earned 175 miles for reading this week. She read a story from her reader and 3 books that I tracked. She read several others because every time she gets bored, she picks up a book and reads, sometimes to her little brother and sometimes to him and my oldest great-grandson. My oldest grandson is 6.5, and he did 145 miles this week. He read a story from his reader and 2 books, but he doesn't come on Mondays, and he was out sick with allergies on Wednesday, so that made a difference. So actually, together as a team, they earned 540 reading miles. Then Thursday and Friday we took walks, and on Thursday we did 2.85 miles as a team, and on Friday we did 2.72 miles as a team, and I added that to the reading miles for a total of 545.57 total miles for the week. Now what this means is at the beginning of the week we started out 74.7 miles that we needed to reach Shreveport, Louisiana. By the end of the day, Friday, we were 50.43 miles outside of Gadsden, Alabama with our miles. So what that meant for us is that we did our maps, which I got this for $1 at a yard sale, and you can get it most anywhere for $3.95. Let me just open it up. This is the map of Louisiana, and it says it is the Pelican State. We talked about Baton Rouge being the capital, and New Orleans being the largest city, and down near the Gulf of Mexico, which is a large body of water. We traced the different rivers, including the Mississippi. We talked about Louisiana being the boot in Mimel on the United States map. We talked about Mardi Gras, and they colored the Mardi Gras mask. We talked about the jazz music, and we talked about the eastern brown pelican. Okay, then we did a map for the state of Mississippi, where they had a little maze where they had to trace down through the middle for the word Mississippi. We talked about it being the Magnolia State, having river boats with paddle wheels. We talked about the Mississippi River running through it and all the other rivers. We talked about Jackson being the capital of Mississippi and also the largest city, and that the magnolia flower and the tree were the state symbols for Mississippi. I also explained to them a fun way to spell Mississippi, which my mother taught me, is M-I, crooked letter, I, crooked letter, I, humpback, I. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard that over the years. From there, we went to YouTube and we watched Homeschool pop videos, which I will type that down into the link in my description also. They're really fun. They're short videos. They're 2 to 6 minutes long. They give a lot of information. They don't just do states, they do other fun things like learning to read, math problems, and science, and things like that. Right now we're focusing on maps and geography for the United States. We also did some work pages. We're trying to do things a little light because it's summertime. So the 4.5-year-old, who will actually be 5 in July, did 13 work pages today on phonics and reading and measurements and things like that. He will have about 140 work pages left between 2 first grade workbooks. Yes, I said first grade. He's reading first grade, he's doing first grade work, including math and everything. His sister, who is 6.5, won't be 7 till November. She did 13 work pages, and she will have approximately, let me go back to my counting page, because yes, I do have days where I count how many pages are left in the workbooks. So she will have approximately 200 work pages between both of her workbooks, which are second grade. Partly because she has a lot of writing to do and she doesn't really like that, so I try not to push it too hard. I back off when they all get tired of writing for the day, and I try to find easy pages where they circle the answer or color it in or something like that. Then my great-grandson, who is 6.5 and will be 7 in July, he did 10 work pages because he was not here. Like I said, he does not come on Mondays, and he missed a day for allergies. Understandable. He had just started both his main first grade workbooks in February, so he still has a little over 500 pages now to complete before he can move on to the next grade level. Now, a couple of things that happened this week were my granddaughter was sitting at the breakfast table eating, and I was doing dishes, and she was like, you know, we need to get a new water filter at home for our water machine. She said, because my dad explained to us that if you get 20 bottles of water in a case, that we will drink it all between the 3 of us in 2 days. And that's a lot of plastic. And I said, that is a good point. And next thing I know, she goes, and you know what? If we had 100 bottles of water and we drank 10 bottles a day, she said, that would take us 10 days. And I said, did your daddy tell you that? And she said, no, I just figured it out on my own. And I said, well, you just did a very large division problem all by yourself, and we have not even touched on division yet. We've talked about it being the opposite of multiplication, which she is beginning to learn, just like subtraction is the opposite of addition. But we hadn't really gotten into detail, so that surprised me. Then her brother had the day before been looking at this placemat poster for Roman numerals. And he realized on his own that the numbers he knows are up above the Roman numerals. So he counted all these and got to 900,000. Well, then he turns around to the blank part and counts again. But my thing is, we have only worked up to the tens place with him, even though he can count to 450, somewhere in there. He did make it with a little bit of help to 700 one day. So for him to know that this was 900,000 here at the bottom at 4.5 just blew my mind. But I keep a lot of things like this out where they can get them, and they can ask questions, or they can try to figure out themselves, or between each other, helping. So kids do not know that they're not supposed to know this stuff yet. And when you tell them when they find out, because you're amazed and surprised, then they're like, oh, okay. And that makes them even prouder of themselves, because they're already proud because they figured it out. But they can learn a lot on their own. With a little bit of guidance, just think how much more they can know. So that concludes our week. Like I said, from May 30th to June 3rd of 2022. So until next time, if you found this interesting or gave you ideas for your own homeschool journey, then please hit like and subscribe below. It costs nothing to subscribe, and please share it with your friends. Thank you. From the Canon Academy Homeschool.